Hi, I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. Tuesday, August 4th. News from Arkansas. Governor Asa Hutchinson has heard the growing chorus of complaints about the unfairness of the 10-day rule for people to respond to questions about their income eligibility to be covered by the private option version of the Medicaid health insurance expansion. The law allows up to 90 days. 30 days would certainly be a fair limit, but we were looking like losing 50,000 people on coverage because of the 10-day rule. We've gotten a lot of evidence that the notices that go out are not easy to understand, that they haven't necessarily been received quickly. It's been hard to get in touch with DHS to clear up questions about eligibility. And the Democratic Party this morning called on the governor to do something. Well, this afternoon he did. He announced that there was going to be basically a two-week cessation of enforcement of the termination rule while he allows DHS to catch up. DHS has been saying that there really isn't a problem with the backlog. They've been handling this in just fine fashion. Well, that's just not true. So people are going to get a little bit of relief. But going forward, I don't think there's any doubt that there needs to be a more realistic termination window. 30 days at a minimum, 90 probably would be better. Elsewhere, we're waiting news from Fox News, which will be the determinant of who gets on its first of the year presidential debate for the Republican presidential primary. They say 10, maybe more, depending on how close things are, will be allowed to debate, depend on national polling numbers, exactly which polls they haven't said. It seems pretty clear that our former man anyway, Mike Huckabee, the former Arkansas governor, will be among the 10, although he's well down the list, tied for 5th or 6th, depending on which polls you observe in the presidential sweepstakes, far behind Donald Trump, yes, the leader, Jeb Bush, and Scott Walker. But I'm sure Mike Huckabee, who has a knack for cooking up outlandish statements, has been cooking up some big ones for his time on the stage. Can't wait to see what that will reveal. The state reported this morning its monthly report on how state taxes are coming in, about the same as last year, and that's about in line with forecasts. But that's because the income tax income is way down. That's because of big tax cuts for rich people, not for the bottom 40% of wage earners, and sales taxes are up. So the regressive sales tax is making up for the tax cut we gave rich people. That's the tax policy in Arkansas today. Planned Parenthood won an important test vote in the U.S. Senate last night. The opponents of Planned Parenthood funding, not for abortion, but for family planning services and other health services, couldn't get the 60 votes they need to have a filibuster-proof vote to end funding to Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood has been under attack forever. It's under attack now, particularly because of an anti-abortion group's misleading editing and providing of information about thoroughly legal activities by some, a very few chapters of Planned Parenthood, and providing tissues for important medical research. New polling shows that Planned Parenthood still ranks slightly ahead of the National Rifle Association in the minds of the public, somewhat more favorable. So there's still that despite the torrent of bad publicity. Arkansas senators, of course, voted against money for women and against money for reproductive health care for women. Typical. Special Prosecutor Scott Ellington of Jonesboro told me that he finally was formally approved yesterday to be the special prosecutor in the death of an 18-month-old child in Hot Springs 2 weeks ago in the car of a juvenile judge, apparently from heat-related causes. The prosecutor said the Hot Springs police are close to completing an investigation, but they're still waiting for a final medical examiner's report. He promises full information, but exactly when, he's not yet ready to say. Finally, a good talking point on the blog today on an otherwise slow news day. Good story in the New York Times, which you can read about on the Arkansas blog at arkansasblog.com. It's about new scientific research about why women are always so cold in offices during the summertime. Well, it's because, of course, it's because the thermostat's low. The thermostat's low because it's generally set to track men's metabolism, and they don't tend to get cold as much as women do. Now, this has spurred a great discussion on our website. People say, well, women just need to put on a sweater, by golly, and men, they're wearing these suit coats and all that. I don't want to take a stand in this. Too dangerous entirely, but interesting talk in all the offices today about who's hot and who's cold and who's not. I'm Max Brantley, that much I'm sure of, and I'll be back tomorrow.